Hi, this is Brian Jones from Valhalla Academy in Frankfort, Kentucky, and this is Defensive Tactics Talk. Today's topic, training weapons. If you train for self-defense with a firearm, you can't spend all of your time on the range. Okay, ammo is expensive right now. Some ranges are restrictive in terms of how you can move. So it's very useful to have some sort of training weapon that mimics your own weapon as much as possible. If you're going to do force-on-force type training, a simunitions gun or a airsoft gun are ideal. If you're going to do some drawing and practice drawing and firing or weapon disarms, you need to have some sort of a training weapon. So I have 4 training weapons down here, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we treat these things. So first of all, I'm going to pick up this blue gun. This is from Rings. This is a Glock 19 exact replica blue gun. So how am I going to hold this gun? I'm going to treat this gun exactly like it's a real gun. The only exception to that is that during the training drills, we may be pointing it at each other because it is a training weapon. Notice that my finger is off the trigger. Okay, I have the muzzle pointed down, not at anything. I'm going to hold it and manipulate it because this fits into my holster just like my regular pistol, my regular Glock. I cannot develop 2 sets of gun handling skills, one for exact replicas and one for real pistols, because if I do that, I'm going to make a mistake one time. So there's no spinning it on your finger or playing with. This is not a toy. This is a training device. And I think that's important to emphasize to any student that comes in here. These aren't Halloween props. They are not toys. They are training devices. Another one I have, and I can't remember the company, is this sort of 1911 replica with the trigger guard cut away. The trigger guard is cut away so that if we practice weapon disarms, we don't end up turning the pistol and catching our finger in the trigger guard and causing a broken finger. Okay, so some of these are a little vigorous, particularly if we're doing it in a live situation. So I recommend, this is kind of a rubber gun too. It's a little bit less hard edges. And it doesn't necessarily fit into any of the holsters that I have, but it's good for some scenario training or some disarm training. Another training device that I have, again, I'm treating it exactly like I would, is the SIRT training pistol from Next Level. I really like this. Basically, it fires I'm going to turn around so you can see. It fires a green laser and a red laser. So the red laser gives you positive trigger pressure. If your finger is on the trigger, then the red laser comes on. It's not the point of aim, it just tells you that the trigger is on. And the point of aim is actually the green laser or the green spot that you're going to see. The great training tool if you don't want to actually fire any projectiles at people for force-on-force. So especially if you're working in close where you're almost too close to get a sight picture, you're kind of firing from retention or from a grappling situation. Otherwise, for marksmanship, I think it tends to cause the student to focus on the green laser rather than the front sight. So if you're going to use this for marksmanship training, you need to ignore that green laser and have someone tell you that you're making your hits or film yourself while you're doing it. The last one that I have is a Airsoft gas blowback Glock 26. Okay, I have several gas blowback Glocks, some 19s, and we use these for force-on-force. We use these for basic marksmanship training indoors because at very close ranges they operate almost identical to a regular pistol, so that you can teach the fundamentals of firearms. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a future defensive tactics talk. The thing that I want to stress is that all of these things are training tools. All of them are replicas of pistols, and anytime I handle these, I want to handle these in a manner that's consistent with how it handles an actual firearm. If you like this video, please click like. Consider subscribing to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any more. Share this with all of your friends. And make sure that the people that are, especially with the ones with firearms, because this defensive tactics, stuff is super important. So make sure that they get this information. This is Brian Jones from Valhalla Academy, reminding you to train hard, train smart, and train often. Thank you.